I spent 20 years after college in corporate America, and what happened was that after 20 years, my brother died of an unexpected drug overdose. And after he crossed over, I literally started to get messages from him. I started to hear him in my head. He was quite a comedian when he was alive in his physical body. So when he came to me in the non-physical realm, he would say, "Hey, Law, it's your dead brother, Jeff." And it was like he was making a joke because he was not dead. And he knew it was kind of funny to him at that point. And he was really reaching out to me, telling me it's time for you to awaken and you have to change the course you're on, because the course you're on is going to lead you down a similar path as what I went through. So I took that calling, and what I did was I ended up leaving my job in corporate America. And I remember during those 20 years, I always had a mantra that was basically, I want to be of service to animals on a global scale. How do I do that? How do I be of service to animals on a global scale? And I think that was the calling, because after he crossed over, I quit my job. I became a dog trainer initially. I moved to Maui. And during those 2 years, I was meditating every evening. I was practicing breath work and different kinds of consciousness work. I ended up having what's known as an abduction experience, which radically shifted everything for me. I feel like that was my star family. I call myself a star seed, that I was seeded here to assist during Ascension. And I also, in those practices, had several what we would call near-death experiences. Although they weren't traditional in the sense that they were in a hospital, but they were metaphysical in the sense that I found certain practices to actually physically allow my body, my physicality to be completely detached, to non-attach from it. And anyway, so through this process, I had an awakening, a radical transformation, a complete shift. Everything internally and externally shifted for me. And what I came to know through those 2 years, was that I was being prepared to assist others during this process we call Ascension, this awakening process. So Ascension is a process, and it's not like an event or one thing that happens. It's not like you just take a pill and suddenly you ascend. The idea is, if you think about the word ascension, what it really means is a process of ascending, going up. And effectively what we're talking about is a radical shift that every human will make, and not just humans, animals, plants, minerals, all of Earth, Mother Earth herself, where consciousness, awareness of the self is restored. And this process that we call Ascension, it's really where we shift out of believing that we're separate from one another, separate from each other, that what we do as individuals has no bearing or no impact on anyone or anything else. And we shift out of that perspective of what we call duality and separation, and into a new awareness where we realize everyone and everything is connected. And in fact, that not only are we all connected, but we're actually all part of one, this unity consciousness, where this one is, we are all each unique individualized aspects of this one divine infinite source. And this divine infinite source, it feels like, when we align with it, we sense, feel, and experience it as absolute pure love. We start to know ourselves as the embodiment of love. And we start to know every other being, every other thing, also as the embodiment of love, aspects of the totality of this love. And we come into this consciousness of this unity connection, that we really are all part of this love, this one love. That's really the process of Ascension. And just one other thing about that is that this process requires us to effectively dump, so to speak, or transmute our emotional, mental, physical, energetic baggage, so that we're no longer carrying the false belief systems, the programs, the ideas, the concepts that we're stuck in pain, we're in separation, we're in sickness, illness, suffering, attachments to physical things. It's about really recognizing that that love within that connection has everything we need, and that source is our provider, and that everyone else has that and is that too. This is how I define Ascension, coming into unity and out of separation.